In this lecture, we'll look at creating a simple stored procedure as a way of scripting a little routine housekeeping. And we're going to start by scripting a procedure to call an insert on the table. And then we're going to look at an important aspect of creating and coding stored procedures, and that is we need to test it. And simple normal pattern, the basic tests are, I want two tests, one that is going to succeed and one that is intended to fail. And we want to test not only that the stored procedure works affirmatively, but also that it fails when it is expected to fail, and that we get information back that is useful. And we can then elaborate and build on that if we want to build in additional transaction handling or additional error handling and communications. Okay, for this, let's use My Guitar Shop. And what let's do is on the My Guitar Shop database, let's insert a category into the table. What is the table name here? Let's go take a quick look. Here's our databases. And here's My Guitar Shop. And here are the tables. And oh yeah, so we're going to put a category in the categories table. So the columns here are category ID and category name. And as I recall, we have an identity on that, so we can let it auto increment and build the key. All we have to do is add the value. Let's go ahead and take a look what's in this table. So we got basses, drums, guitars, and keyboards. Okay, so let's come over here and start with just a simple insert before we script it. So insert into categories category name, values, and let's try new category. Let's run that and see if it is working correctly. Okay, invalid name category. So, oh yeah, there we go. Single ticks. Okay, so it says it ran correctly. Let's come over here and rerun this. We see new category is there. And so let's clean up our work. We can just say delete from categories where category name equals new category. Run that. And what did I get wrong? Oh, try that again. Delete it. Okay, and now it should be cleaned up. And it is, it's gone. Okay, so now let's just take this and let's convert this into a stored procedure. And so since we want our housekeeping to be good and proper, we'll first see if the object exists. So if object ID SP insert category, and the way we know it exists is if it is not null. So is not null, then drop the procedure SP insert category. Someday they're going to have a little more concise syntax that says, drop or create, or something like that, so that if it exists, it gets dropped and you recreate it, or just recreate. And so if it doesn't exist, it will be created. If it does exist, it'll be deleted and then recreated. But right now, we got to do it the old-fashioned way. And so there it is. And there's the end of that batch. So if this exists, then we're going to drop it. Okay. Whether or not it did exist at this point right here, it no longer exists. So we'll go ahead and create proc SP insert category. And let's define an argument parameter to be passed to it, category name, and we'd be lazy and say varchar 255. What we really ought to do, let's not be lazy. Let's go ahead and take a look in the columns. Let's see how the category name is defined. Oh, and it is defined as a varchar 255. So yeah, 255. You could allow a parameter that could potentially be too large for the field that you're populating, in which case if somebody actually types one that larger than the field size, it's going to throw an error. So it's better to be precise in our practice. Okay, so let's go ahead and call that varchar 255. And that's going to be defined as the following. Oh, and we've already got the statement here. Only we need to change this hard-coded string so that it is going to insert the at category name. Very good. And then that will end that part of the batch. Remember the go, what that is doing is managing synchronicity. So this happens and then this happens. If you were not to do that and it was trying to delete on one thread at the same time it's trying to create on the other thread, you'd have a race condition, and you could possibly have the creation thread end before the drop thread, and you delete you would have timing problems. So Go manages the batch and the sequence. So we do this and then we do this, and so that's how we're launching each step there. Okay. And let's go ahead. This is going to be what we would keep for housekeeping in defining in this script. And let's run it. And so that's been created. Now what we ought to do is we ought to test things. Okay, so first let's test failure. What would cause a failure? Well, if the category already exists, we can't create it again. So we can't create a second guitar category. So let's say exec SP insert category and we'll pass it guitars. And just to be clear, at this point, this part of the script has already been executed. Just for clarity, you don't need to do this. I'm going to delete that off so you can see that we're dealing with the stored procedure that has already been created. Of course, we need to spell it correctly. There we go. SP insert category. We're just calling what already exists. We have created it, and we're going to try and add a second guitars category. And let's go ahead and execute that, and it should fail. Incorrect syntax. Okay, so the syntax error is not the error I was trying for. SP insert category, could not find stored procedure. What did I name it? Maybe I spelled it wrong. So if we refresh, close up the database, refresh things, open that up, let's take a look at the programmability, stored procedures, SP inster category. Okay, I mistyped it. Let's see, can I rename that right here? That'd be cool if I can. Yeah, okay, who knew? That was pretty nifty. Okay, so now let's see if I execute that. Still calling incorrect syntax. SP insert category. SP insert category guitars. Where's the syntax error? It's calling it, oh, let's see here. Yeah, okay. This is not passed in parentheses. And I think we're still seeing, can't find the stored procedure. I actually think it's just because this window has not refreshed. So I think that should actually run now. Violation of unique key constraint. That's the error we were looking for because guitars already exists in that. Okay, so that's going to fail. So we've tested the failure condition. Now let's test the success condition. And let's change this back to new category. And we should be able to run that. It says one row affected, that's what we'd expect. And let's say select star from categories and inspect what we have. And there it is, new category. Now let's clean up after ourselves. Good. So great. So we've now seen how to create and script and test a simple stored procedure, something that we can then reuse. We also pick up a little bit of efficiency on a stored procedure in that the query execution plan is stored when the stored procedure is compiled. So it runs just a little bit quicker than interactive or ad hoc SQL. And as a bonus, we learned that we could use the Object Explorer to simply rename a stored procedure, which is pretty cool. I thought we would have to then alter it and then commit the change, but you just go ahead and change it right in the Object Explorer, and that works neatly. So fun stuff. We learned a little bit along the way. I learned something too. And then we've cleaned up after ourselves, and now we have this stored procedure out there that we can call to make our lives a little bit simpler. All right, we'll look at some elaborations on this in additional lessons to follow.